Hi, Clinton Gallagher, clintongallagher.com. Maybe you're confused about something like I was. We're all hearing that we have to re-engineer the source code of our websites to be discovered by people using these AI chatbots. No re-engineered source code means no discovery. This happens to be a specious belief where it's actually true, but what's being left unsaid? Furthermore, what do we observe when we're learning to use chatbots ourselves and we see our competitor's name linked up in a ChatGPT session that might, for example, link to a site on the HVAC service contractor's page about a heat pump? How do we figure that out when their website has not been re-engineered so its source code is discoverable by the chatbots? Well, here's what I learned. Ask the chatbots themselves. Yeah, hello. What a thought. Gee, that's deep, ain't it? Ask. If you don't know, just ask. Well, I asked ChatGPT about this, and it told me, my name, clintongallagher.com, exists in your training data of the website that were indexed pre-2023 when their training data was cut off. That was their deadline that they stopped training. I don't recall the date that they began training. And let's assume it was 3 years. We'll say 2020 to 2023 for the sake of discussion. And we're going to have to conclude, rightly so, and logically and soundly so, that all of the other chatbots are operating on the same principle. If you were found by Google search, Bing search, Yahoo search, before the chatbots, by means of SEO, you exist in the search index that Bing, interestingly enough, Microsoft's Bing, has the search index API that ChatGPT and presumably others to be confirmed like Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, where are they going when they operate in search engine mode? They operate in two different modes. You could think of this like your automatic transmission. Only you don't have to select drive or overdrive. The bots are figuring that out on the basis of what's being expected of them when we engage in conversation. How do I this and how do I that? Can you explain this? Can you explain that? By the way, this and that. So there's the difference. Now, at that point, what happens? There's the really tricky part that I did not get, that I now do fully understand, so I can help you as a trusted AEC industry technology transfer advisor and coder par excellence, head designer and all that kind of brouhaha, no brag, just fact, that the chatbot like GPT can then, once it found you somehow in the 2023 cutoff point and indexed by all the search bots, if you're found then, it then does what they call surfaces you. They've got a new term meaning surface. You can think of this as being like an underwater diver. You're surfacing to the level where when you pop the surface, you can be seen. That's when you end up getting cited and your link gets cited. And this all came about while I was getting a reference to a label printer for a line of business that I'm developing. And I need a shipping label, automated shipping label solution, and ChatGPT told me about 4 different options I had for entry-level costs. Amazon, Etsy, Rollo, and another Murbeck, something to that effect, Murbeck. Amazon was linked in a citation at the end of the recommendation. So I'm asking Mr. ChatGPT, please explain how, if these sites have to be optimized for AI discoverability, how come Amazon is linked to you? Are you, showing some preference for something that we don't know about? Well, the preference was based on the surfacing algorithms that once you're found, the matter then becomes handed off to the next mode. The automatic transmission shifts from, we call it drive into overdrive, AI land, where transformation can occur. Because transformation can come from source code that has been optimized for AI discoverability. It's called structured data. It's a type of source code written in JavaScript object notation. There's all kinds of it required for optimal discoverability. So if you expect your head to pop up over the surface of the water if and when you are surfaced, if you are now surfaceable, all you need to do is hope that you've got some structured data in your website, and you'll surface right up and pop over the head, and then you'll be the link instead of Amazon. Because the transformation process looks at many, many, many other issues in its comparative analysis, other than those issues related to its mechanical requirements, such as having structured data to read and interpret, and computationally program a linguistic philosophy that they've got embedded into the logic of their source code on their servers. So there's these 2 modes that are working. I don't know if I've done a good 5th grade level education explanation of that tonight, but that's a fact, Jack, and you can bet your ass. Okay, I'm gonna try the 5th grade level explanation, because I think I could pull it off okay this time. What's happening is, if your website was search engine optimized, and the Google and Bing and Yahoo had indexed it, and your website's been around previous to 2023, which was the cutoff date for training of these AIs. The AI chatbots looked at all the indexed websites that occurred before 2023. So if you've been on the web since 2023, and if your website was reasonably optimized for search engine optimization, asking Google, show me 3 HVAC service contractors in Wauwatosa. Give me 2 links to an architectural firm that is known for its residential design skills. Those were Google text search that would easily be found. Because in order to optimize our websites for search engine optimization, we had source code that enables us to use what was called a description. Hello, real tricky, ain't it? But the description contained those search terms. Now, if your website was not optimized with those search terms and is not AI optimized as your trusted AEC industry technology transfer advisor, Clinton Gallagher, is hoping to help you do, so we could all rise to the surface. because a rising tide floats all boats. And Clinton Gallagher knows, and when he asks somebody for something that he doesn't know, he's got to go forth and presume that he was told the truth, something reliable and factual. And the chatbots will tell me, have told me, and will tell you that if you're not modifying your source code, you will not ever be AI discoverable. So from now on, the question is, how long will the chatbots continue to operate in this two-selectable automatic transmission mode, drive and overdrive? They told me, and they'll tell you too, that's going away. It's here. For example, I like to use the HVAC contractor use case because they're in a seasonal job. And they also do a lot of business locally. So they used to be found on Google Maps, and they'll continue to be found on Google Maps. But the smart HVAC operators, which are very, 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 very few of, I'm sorry to say, in Milwaukee, most of them are really arrogant, dumb, obnoxious, typical people with licenses from the state that don't really have to be courteous anymore because they're the only ones that are allowed to work according to the law. So sooner or later they have a ticket that allows all of us have to be compelled to subjugate ourselves to these cockroaches, because that's how their behavior is. They want to get in our cupboard and eat up our crumbs of all of our cookies and then shit and leave their shit behind as a reminder that they were there. That's how I see things today, unfortunately. And still, here it is. If you don't optimize the source code for your website, within a year or so, it won't matter whether you were found on Google Maps or not, because Google is optimizing all of Google Maps to be AI optimized, clown boy. And that's a fact. Yep, and you can bet your ass. Well, okay, here's the good news, Mr. Agent of the State with your license.
But, señor, ¿puedo tenernos ten king license?
And everybody else. If you were found by Google or by Bing or Yahoo search prior to 2023, even though you didn't get above the fold ranking, your website was indexed, and it's in the indexed. The good news for you sorry sad sacks is that AI is giving you a gift. You don't have to care about ranking anymore. Search engine ranking is gone. AI discovery surfaces you what they're doing at that level has nothing to do anymore with search engine rankings, as I explained, as told by the chatbots. When they go into search engine mode, drive mode, remember drive and overdrive? When they go into drive mode, they go into drive mode because you haven't been surfaced. And the reason you haven't been surfaced, you deadbeats, is because you won't pay anybody to help upgrade your websites. You think this is all a joke when people are calling on you, don't you? Your salesmen treat me like shit, didn't they? I can imagine that they're doing to everybody else, too. Cocky little, obnoxious little cockroaches. Well, the laugh's on you because you're not ever going to be seen. You're never going to get surfaced into AI mode, overdrive. But you can weep yourselves to sleep Because you'll at least you'll get a link when they're in search mode, but it's not going to be your link to your website, to your service as an HVAC provider or any other stinking licensed agent of the state that doesn't put any money back into their local communities once they got what they got. Okay? And you could bet your ass that's a fact, Jack.
I don't give a rat's patootie if you like, subscribe, and comment or not. Well, that's a damn lie. Ha, ha, ha.